Story 1. The Hollow Man. In 2025, Marcus, a father of 2, took his children trick-or-treating in their suburban neighborhood. His wife stayed home to prepare dinner, so he carried a flashlight and followed behind his kids as they ran from house to house. At one corner, he noticed a man in a long coat and tall hat standing near a hedge. The man didn't move or say a word, just stared at the children. Marcus assumed it was another parent until the man stepped into the glow of the streetlight. His face was missing completely blank, like a sheet of skin stretched over bone. No eyes, no nose, no mouth. Yet somehow Marcus felt its gaze locked on him. He rushed his kids to another street, pretending not to notice. But his youngest tugged his hand and whispered, "Daddy, the Hollow Man is following us." Everywhere they went, he was there across the street, down the block, behind a fence, never getting closer, but never going away. Finally, Marcus hurried home, locking the door tight. When he tucked his children into bed, he heard scratching at the window. He pulled the curtain back just enough to peek outside. The yard was empty except for a trail of candy wrappers leading to the back fence, as if something had lured his children step by step. To this day, his kids refuse to go out on Halloween. They say the Hollow Man waits for the night when their father isn't watching. Story 2. The Masked Visitor. Halloween night in 2023 started normally for Claire, a college student who stayed home handing out candy while her roommates went to a party. The streets outside her apartment buzzed with kids in costumes, parents chatting, and laughter echoing under the autumn night sky. Around 9:30, the flow of trick-or-treaters slowed, leaving Claire scrolling her phone between knocks at the door. When the bell rang again, she opened it, expecting one last group of kids. Instead, a tall figure stood silently in a plain, pale mask knot. The colorful costumes she'd been seeing all evening, but a blank, emotionless mask that made her skin crawl. He didn't speak, didn't hold out a bag, didn't move. After a long pause, Claire nervously dropped candy into his empty hands. He tilted his head slowly, then turned and walked away. Relieved, she shut the door. But minutes later, she glanced outside and saw him still standing under the streetlight across from her building, staring. Hours later, when her roommates came back, they found Claire asleep on the couch, door locked, candy bowl empty. But the strange part was the window. On the glass, in the condensation, was the imprint of a face pressed tightly against it. The mask hadn't just been outside anymore, it had been watching from right at her window. Story 3. The Basement Party. A group of high school seniors in Ohio decided to throw a Halloween party in an abandoned farmhouse. They decorated with jack-o'-lanterns, fake cobwebs, and strings of orange lights. Music blared, kids danced, and the air smelled of cheap beer and smoke. But halfway through the night, the basement door swung open on its own. Daring each other, a few teens went down with flashlights. The basement was damp, filled with old furniture and broken shelves. But what unsettled them most were the dozens of carved pumpkins placed neatly in rows. Their candles were fresh, flames flickering. The kids swore they hadn't set them there. As they examined them, one boy noticed something strange. The faces weren't goofy or scary like normal jack-o'-lanterns. They were identical, each with the same wide, jagged mouth and round, hollow eyes. Then, from the far corner, they heard footsteps. Thinking it was another student messing with them, they shouted. No answer came. The lights above flickered, the flames went out, and in the dark, a deep wheezing sound echoed across the room. They bolted upstairs, locking the door behind them. When police investigated the next day, the pumpkins were gone. The basement was bare, but the officer who filed the report noted that the concrete floor was damp, as if covered in footprints, circling the room over and over.